Hey, ladies. Good evening, good afternoon, good morning, wherever you're joining from. Woo. All right, ladies, welcome, 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 welcome. So exciting. So exciting to see you today. I see four of us already on the call. Let me just give it like 3 minutes for more girls to join in. When I see 15 to 20 eyeballs, we get to start. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Welcome, ladies. Welcome. I've been waiting all day to meet with you. Sorry. Welcome, ladies. All right. I see seven girls in. Tell me where you're joining in from. Yep. Hello, Miss Irene. I'm excited to be here. So I see Edna from Gombe. All right. Good afternoon, everyone. So we have someone from Gombe. Everyone, tell me where you're joining in from. You know, you're joining in with your parents' handles. So I don't want to be calling their names instead of yours. So do you know? Just do me a quick favor, right? Your name and tell me where you're joining from. So I already see Edna from Gombe. Ofura is joining in from Lekki. Fantastic. My amazing girls are on the call tonight. Tonight, this afternoon, I see Zara from Port Harcourt. Please tell me where you're joining from. Thank you so much for joining this session today. I've been waiting all week. I've been so excited to meet with all the girls. Welcome, welcome, welcome. So let me know, leave me comment, let me know where you're joining in from. It will be my joy to give you a hearty welcome. All right. It will be my joy to give you a hearty welcome. All right. So let me see where we're joining in from. All right. Mm-hmm. All right. So let me see. Let me see. So Adobe is joining in from the United Kingdom. Zara is joining in from Port Harcourt. Ofura is joining in from Lekki. Edna is joining in from Gombe. So I see those are the girls on the call. But I see 11 people on the call. Please leave us a comment. Say something. That's how I know you're in the meeting. Just leave us a comment, okay? Leave me a comment. Leave me a comment. Let me know that you're on the call for real, for real. Okay? Thank you so much. All right? Beautiful. 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 Nice. I see more people joining. See more people joining. So let me do this. I'm just working on a small correction on my slide, something I omitted during the last class. Beautiful. So I'm good, I'm good, I'm good, I'm good, all right? So Ego said Port Harcourt. Olwani Fem is joining in from Kwara. Abigail is joining from Amodofin. Good afternoon. Esther is joining in from Abuja. Forgive me that I'm coughing. I've been having a little bit of a cold, but I didn't want it to stop me from hanging out with you today. So please bear with me. All right. So I think we're ready to begin now. We're ready to start. All right. So can you tell me what your parents told you this session was about? What's the conversation you came to have today? Leave me a comment. All right. I'm happy to be here too. Thank you so much. So let me know what do you think this meeting is all about? What's the conversation that your parents said you were going to have? Good afternoon, Ma. How was your night? Yes, I tried. I promise I tried to sleep well, even though I was all excited to be here. Sonia is joining from Rivers. Fantastic. So leave me a comment. Let me know what do you think the topic of today is about? All right. What do you think we're here to talk about? What do you think we're here to talk about? All right, so that I'm sure that we are on the same page. What do you think we're here to talk about? What do you think we're here to talk about? So that I can get this party started. On the same page, what do you think we're here to start talk about? Beautiful. What did mommy say we're here to talk about? If it's daddy that told you about the class, what did he say the class was all about? Let me see. Raising girls, peer pressure. Yeah, the handle is raising girls. Miss Irene is also talking about raising girls. But today we're talking peer pressure. So if you're ready for us to talk about this thing, tell me what you know peer pressure to mean. I'm going to start sharing my slide now, so that we can start. But just start telling me what you understand peer pressure to mean. So let me share my slides. Let me share my slides in a moment, okay? Let me share my slides. All right, so let me come back this way. All right. Girl talk basically. I like how you put it. Girl talk basically. All right. So what are you looking forward to talking about today? So you knew it was girl talk. What is something you were hoping that we would talk about? Or what is something you would like to hear about? Just leave it for me as a comment. What is something you're hoping we'll talk about? What is something you're looking forward to talking about? A question you'd like to be answered. It is when you're forced to do what you don't want to do. All right. You want okay? Okay, that's what peer pressure is, when you're forced to do something that you don't want to do. All right. So I want to note that that's what peer pressure means to you. Force. All right. All right. Beautiful. I'm not saying enough comments. I'm not saying enough comments. We're 21 of us now. What is something you were hoping for us to talk about? Okay. So that I make sure that whatever we talk about today, I kind of also accommodate what you're looking forward to learning about today. So leave me a comment, leave me a comment, leave me a comment. I'd be happy to see it. Fantastic. Let me see, let me see, let me see. All right. I'm sure you're typing. So let me introduce myself while we're waiting for all of that. For the girls meeting me for the very first time, my name is Irene Bangwell. I'm a girls coach. Somebody talked about body posture. Oh, fantastic. My name is Irene Bangwell. I'm a girls coach. I'm the creator of the Body Smart Girl Bundle. I see some names online that are girls who are already using the Body Smart Girl Bundle. It's a collection of books for girls of different ages that talks about body safety, body changes, handling, your emotions when you're in the middle of puberty and all of that. But then it also talks. There's also a book in the bundle for parents that talks to parents about how to support girls. You as they're developing. All right. So that's what I do. And it's on that platform that I'm hosting this class today. I thought it was a midterm. And just before you go back to school, we needed to do some talking about some things before you go back to school. That's particularly for the borders. Okay. I also am a teacher. Yes, I am Irene Bangwell. Yes, I am Irene Bangwell. Good to meet you, darling. So I'm also the co-founder of a charity secondary school in Kuje, a charity secondary school where children pay 100 naira a day to come to school. It's for kids who've been out of school or whose parents are really struggling financially. So I'm a teacher as well. But you're here today because of my work working with girls. And today I'm going to be talking to us about understanding and managing peer pressure, especially when it's with respect to dating. By the time you get to your age, I'm sure you'll find out that a lot of your peers, a lot or a number of your peers may start talking about dating, boy girl relationships, what should it look like, what is it, and all those things. And so I'm hoping that at the end of today, I can spend some time to talk to you essentially about understanding whether you're being pressured to do this and some of the things you need to do to deal with peer pressure and dating, some of the things you need to do, some of the things you need to know. So someone here is saying peer pressure is when you feel you must do what other people of your age do. Fantastic. You feel that pressure. So Miss Irene is going to be having a conversation is about when you're under that pressure, what do you do? When you're in the middle of that pressure, what do you do? Because when that pressure is so much, you may know what the right thing to do is, but you may do something totally different. You may do something, you may regret it, you may be embarrassed by it, and it's all because you didn't know how to manage the pressure, how to stop it from overwhelming you. That's what the conversation today is all about. So I've already done this. We've asked you, even though I didn't ask you to drop your nicknames and all. I should have. So this should have been at the front of the screen where you came. So let's talk about peer pressure. You're already talking to me about peer pressure. So yeah, somebody says you resist the peer pressure. Fantastic. So that's what we're going to be talking about today. How do we resist peer pressure? But a good place to start is with is with defining what peer pressure is. So I'm seeing a lot of questions already. I'm seeing a lot of statements already about what peer pressure is. I want to just read some of them. Someone here said peer pressure is when you're forced to do what you don't want to do. All right, I like that you're forced. So there's the introduction of force there. Absolutely, I see that. But the one thing I know is that when you're going through peer pressure, I don't want us to focus on the first part because if you want to look at the first part, you can report someone. They can face certain consequences when we're looking at the perspective of force. But when we're looking at the one that you willingly do because they were saying things to you over and over, you now decide, okay, I'm going to do this. That's the aspect that I want to look at. But if it is force, you can report to authorities around you. All right. So peer pressure are those that okay influencing someone either good or bad. Absolutely. So there's Temi here. Temi is 13 years old and she's joining you from Abuja. So what is peer pressure? Miss Irene defines peer pressure as a situation where a person or a thing tries to influence the choices that you make. Yeah, a person or a thing tries to influence the choices that you make. And that's what I want us to look at. There's a person or there's something that tries to influence the choices that you make. So we're going to be looking at the different ways, the different things, you know, the different ways that peer pressure comes. All right. So seeing. Number one is asking. You're hanging out with friends and they ask you to do certain things. They either ask you or they suggest to you or they persuade you to do something wrong. So let me give you a typical example. So you went to your friend's birthday party, all right? My charger is off. I need to connect it back. So you went to a friend's birthday party and somebody had some drinks for everyone to drink, and someone made fun about one of the drinks. And when you asked, they told you that they put something inside that could make someone high dive, but that is fun, is not so serious. And the moment you heard that, oh, there might be alcohol in this thing, maybe more than alcohol, maybe drugs. And you said, no, I beg, I don't want to take it. Your friend said, ah, it's nothing. Sibiodun took it, and Yola took it. Ifoma took it. What's the big deal? I beg, take it. They're trying to persuade you. They're trying to offer it to you. They're trying to suggest it to you. They're trying to ask you to take it. That's peer pressure. All right? I don't want you to go with the terminologies direct, indirect, individual. I don't even know those ones. I'm just looking at situations. All right? So calm down. Let's look at situations. All right? So look at different ways that peer pressure comes, and let's call those types of peer pressure. All right, sweetie? So let's go. Let's stay there. So you're in a situation now. Your friends are asking you or suggesting to you or persuading you to do something. Part of the reason that they're persuading you is that somewhere inside you, you know that that thing is wrong. And sometimes you may even feel that, ah, are my parents being uptight? Is it really, really bad like that? Once you start asking yourself those questions, it is a sign that you're under peer pressure. And that could come from people either asking you, suggesting to you, or persuading you to do something wrong. So I don't know if someone can just type for us and say, number one way that peer pressure comes is by people asking you to do something that you know inside. The moment you know that inside of you this thing is wrong, whatever thing that is making you start asking, should I not? That's peer pressure. Yeah, that's you being under peer pressure. Can you hear me? If you can hear me clearly, please type that you can hear me clearly. Let me know. All right. If you can hear me clearly, please type that you can hear me clearly. Thank you. All right. So the moment someone starts to ask, so if you can hear me, please type. One way that peer pressure comes is when people ask, suggest, or persuade us to do something that we know is wrong. Yep. Okay. So I think I just want to be sure this is asking you to do it. Yes. People are asking you to do it. People are actually asking you to do that thing. But what makes it peer pressure is that inside of you, where nobody can reach, just inside of you, you know that this thing is wrong. Oh, my mom has told me about this thing. My dad has told me about this thing. I know my mom yells a lot. So, my mom has told me this thing. So, with asking, that's peer pressure. Number two, what about when nobody is asking you anything? You're just seeing. You're seeing all your classmates wearing a particular kind of sandal, using a particular kind of purse, using a particular kind of earpods, and suddenly your earpods are not so cool anymore. Suddenly you start to feel that you're not hearing very well. The sound is breaking. You need a new earpod, and that's it. So when you start to see yourself not appreciating what you have, not appreciating something that used to be comfortable, it means you're going through peer pressure. The moment you start to notice that something that you didn't have a problem with, you were okay with wearing that skirt before out to church, but all of a sudden you don't want to wear it anymore because you suddenly feel that it's not so nice because you're seeing what other people are doing. Someone could say, Miss Irene, if I'm looking at what other people are wearing, what has that got to do with dating? It means that if what you see can start making you not appreciate what you have, then very soon, if what you're saying is your peers dating, chances are that you are going to be inclined. You're going to start saying, well, I don't think it's such a big deal. Yes, you're trying to move up to the latest trends that your friends have. And so if the trend becomes dating, you're going to feel pressure to date. All right? And when you start to feel pressure to date, it means that you will do anything so that someone would like you. You will change your hair color, change the way you walk, change the way you talk, change the way you speak, change how you behave in school, just so that you can get the attention of a boy. Because at that point, the pressure is to date. So the first instance of peer pressure is people are literally asking us, do this, do that. This is not such a bad idea. But the second way is Nobody's talking to you. You're just watching the things happening around you, and then it's causing you a lot of pressure. It's causing you a whole lot of peer pressure. Number three, ascribed authority. Ascribed authority means, I want you to come back to me with that question, Deborah. All right? Ascribed authority means that if you think that somebody is a big deal, then anything that person says and does becomes pressure for you. So that's the third way peer pressure comes. Ascribing authority. Let me give you an example. So there's a boy in school that you think is cool, and he dresses well and everybody's complimenting him. Before you know it, anything he says or does becomes a rule for you to live by. If you suddenly hear that he said he doesn't like chubby girls, unconsciously you start to work on your weight. That's peer pressure. A pressure that comes from an authority you give to someone. Oh, someone is talking, let's say your seniors. You think that your seniors are all that. So all of a sudden you hear that your senior is dating this boy, and you feel like, oh, it's okay to date. So you've given authority to someone, and so whatever that person does, it begins to influence you. It's the same thing with celebrities. If you think that this celebrity is so cool, whatever they say, whatever challenge they, you know, they put up online and ask people to do, whatever their music says. Somebody say, but it is okay if you're very mature. Explain it some more so that I can respond, okay? So we have the ascribed authority, okay? When no one asks you, the pressure you feel is the pressure of wanting to belong. Exactly. So I was going to go there, which is the trend part. And the trend part is really related to puberty in a way, when you want to belong to something. When you start going through puberty, you start to see yourself in other people. You start to feel like, well, she's just like me. You want to feel among. And so normally you can be driven to do crazy things because you want to belong. You want to belong to the clique. You want to belong to the cool kids. You want to belong to something. And so Bisari is saying, if any of this is happening to you right now, it means you're going through peer pressure. And when you're going through peer pressure, chances are that you're going to do something that goes against what you've been taught, that goes against what you know to be right. So someone is talking in the comment here and they say, a lot of my classmates are dating. So do you feel like you're missing something because you're not dating? So do you want to comment? Do you feel like because a lot of your classmates are dating, so it means that you are missing something because you are not dating? I want to see a comment. If a lot of your classmates are dating, do you feel left out? Yeah, that's the right word. Do you feel okay? So that means you're under pressure. That means you're under pressure. And so that's why you're in this session. And so we're going to use this example now that you brought out, and we're going to use it to say, what should you do now that you feel like a lot of people are dating? So some other person is saying, well, dating just pulls you behind on schoolwork. Fantastic. So let's go to the next slide so that we can help this our friend who is saying, a lot of my classmates are dating. And I feel she didn't say she's really feeling left out. She said a little bit. And pressure is a little bit of discomfort. And then another, it keeps going until you're so overwhelmed, and before you know it, you get in. All right. So having said that, let me share this with you. Okay, so we've already done this. I wanted to ask, do you know someone who may be going through peer pressure? So we already have our friend here who is saying, I'm dealing with this, but a little bit of it. So today's session is to say, what should she do? All right, what should she do? If all of your classmates, and there might be people on the call, there might be people on this class right now who are even dating. And so Miss Irene is going to be talking with you as much as possible in this short interval of time so that we'll know exactly what to do. Someone asks, is it natural to have a crush? Yes. It's natural to have a crush. When you start going through puberty, crush is a part of the changes happening emotionally to your body. All right? But do crushes always mean that you're ready to date? We'll ask me that question towards the end of the session. Let's see what you have to say. All right. So someone said none of my classmates are dating, but they're boys. Some boys are flirt. Okay, fantastic. Do you want to explain to me what the word flirt means so that I know that we're talking about the same thing? So now everyone read the screen and type what you see on the screen in the comment. Read the screen and type what you see. Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? Go, we're back. So I was trying to say that anyone can be under pressure. Anyone can be under pressure. Anyone can be under pressure. We're not supposed to judge each other, but we're supposed to have a system in which no matter how pressured we are, we don't bend the rules. No matter how pressured we are, we don't bend the rules. I want to make sure that we are all hearing me. No matter how pressured we are, we don't bend the rules. No matter how pressured we are, we don't bend the rules. So I think. No matter how pressured we are, we don't bend. Okay. All right. So everyone can hear me now. So let me go to the next slide. So this is where we start to talk about what do we do. So I've created these code words to help us when we feel pressure on anything, and it will help us to navigate. It will help us to manage the pressure so that we don't bend the rules. So no matter how pressured we feel, we don't bend the rules. No matter how pressured we feel, we do not bend the rules. All right, so let me see. No matter how pressured we feel, we do not bend the rules. So I developed this acronym, like this code alphabet, that can help us every time we feel pressured. Okay, so let's type IDAWAE. I called it either way. All right, like either way, we're not breaking the rules, but it's spelled uniquely. So type it in the comments. All right. All right. Someone asked me how, no matter how pressured, we do not bend the rules. So, for example, you feel pressure to do something wrong. What makes it wrong is because there's a rule that says you shouldn't do that. So let's say your parents have said I mean, boy-girl relationship is a no-no for you now. All right. Boy-girl relationship for you is a no-no for you now. Now, when you start to feel pressure, you can decide to go ahead and date. When you decide to go ahead, you've bent the rules because the rule says no, no. Someone says, is being close to a guy the same thing as dating? Well, darling, only you can determine if it is dating. Let me explain what I mean. There can be a boy and a girl that are close, they do homework together, they do stuff at school, they remind each other for stuff. There are no emotions involved. Of course, you and boys can be friends. Dating is not that you won't be close to a boy. So you work together, you support each other, you talk like pals. There's no letter writing. There's no love note. There's no, I don't want to see you with any other boy. I don't want to see you with any other girl. There's no kind of that conversation. There's no kissing. There's no special Valentine treat. That's what makes it dating. Well, you can be friends, no big deal. When you're under pressure, like in school, maybe there's a teacher you got into trouble with, or you were absent from school. Your friend will say, hey, take my notes, write this. I didn't understand this. You can talk about what you didn't understand in a lesson, and it's not a big deal. Boys and girls ought to be able to relate together without it being a big deal. But dating is actually what takes away value. Girls, we lose a lot from friendships with boys when we start to date them. We lose from the friendship what we could learn from them, what they could learn from us. We actually lose from the friendship when we start to date. So dating can become the problem in what would have been a beautiful relationship. In my childhood, I had friends that were boys, and there wasn't anything emotional. We are not crushing on each other. So the moment you start to crush on a boy, and then you're now close, and then you're daydreaming, I mean, you can be arguing with all of us that there's nothing going on, but you know that there's more to it. Sometimes the boy doesn't even know there's more going on, but you know that there's more to it. You're daydreaming, you can't think straight in school. You're dressing up a particular way so that he can compliment you. And so we have a problem, all right? So when you're in that state, you're under pressure. So what should you do when you're under pressure? Either way, I've seen enough of us type our either way code, all right? So number one, I stands for identify where you feel pressured. What are you being pressured to do right now? Remember, pressure is not always someone forcing you. Pressure is you saw something and you feel like you want it. Your friends are suggesting something to you and you feel like you want it. Someone that you've given ascribed authority to, you feel like you want it. Do you get the idea? So am I talking too fast? Let me know if I'm talking too fast. If I'm talking too fast, please help me. Let me know that I'm talking too fast and I'll slow down. All right. All right. So number one, identify what it is you feel pressured to do. Do you feel pressure to date? Do you feel pressure to bully? Let me tell you, there's another part where you have a group of friends. All right. You have a group of friends that talk to people anyhow, and now you're feeling pressure that you must talk like that. Meanwhile, you know it is wrong. You know the rule is you should treat people with courtesy and kindness. That's what you're taught at home. But now you're in school, it's a big place. There are no daddies and mommies. It's all about people trying to do as if they are stronger and harder than other people. They're making, you're seeing these things and you feel pressure that I want to start talking like this. So identify what you're being pressured to do. Is it dating? Is it bullying other people? Is it watching something inappropriate? For example, there's a show that you know is not for your age. Your parents have told you you cannot watch it. It's okay. But you go to school, Okay, someone say, what if you don't know what is pressuring you? So you can look at the things you feel like doing, the things that you feel like doing when you feel those pressure, or the things you're worried that if I do it, will I be fine? If I do it, will I be fine? If I don't do it, will I get into trouble? Those are the things that help you know what is pressuring you. Yeah. So identify what you're being pressured to do. Is it dating, bullying, watching something inappropriate? I'll say there's a TV show that you know you're not supposed to watch, but now you showed up in school and all your classmates this midterm are telling you how they watched this show. They went to the cinemas, they watched it, they watched it, they watched it, they watched it. What if a friend came to school with a device and said, look, I have this show, watch it. But you know the rule from home is don't watch it. So now you're feeling pressured. There's the device in school, there's internet, they've snuck it in, the teachers don't know. And something tells you you can watch it and nobody will know. The siren is saying you're breaking the rule. And when you break the rule, you're exposing yourself. There's a problem with safety. You know, there's a Bible verse that I love so much. It says that he who breaks the hedge, the serpent will bite. So in those days, like even up till now, people were farmers. And so as they farm, they'll put like a barbed fence around their produce. They put a barbed fence, but it was built in such a way that snakes could not come through. So the whole idea was that if somebody cuts the barbed fence, snakes will come in and they will eat the animals that they were rearing. So the Bible puts it this way by saying, if you break the hedge, if you break this barbed wire protecting you, the serpent will bite. So rules are like the barbed fence. Whether your parents are there or not, you're protected when you stay within the rules, when you abide by the rules, whether it's school rules or family values or something they taught you at church. And for those of our friends on the call who are Muslims, something they've taught you repeatedly by your parents at Islamia, wherever you've been taught. Sweetheart, what if you want to feel pretty for yourself? Even if you want to feel pretty for yourself, you have to do it in such a way that you're not breaking any rule feeling pretty. Because when you break the rule feeling pretty, you're going to hurt you. What if you want to feel pretty for it? You want to make your hair a certain type of way? Nobody's getting hurt. Just what Miss Irene is saying, whatever you do, always remember the boundaries. Remember the rules because that's where safety is. The real safety is when we operate within the rules. Do you get the idea? So, for example, a girl started dating. Yeah, if you break the rules, you hurt yourself. Most times, people pick on others and set them up when you try to be the good person. What will you do in that situation? Do you want to speak up to uh, speak up to someone in authority? Let's say it's in school. Do you want to speak up to someone? Do you want to speak up to your parents? Do you want your parents to come and address the situation? Also, do you want to be more assertive? Do you want to get into because sometimes being a good person, you guys think means you don't speak up. It means you cower down. Somebody is talking to you. Let me. I want to put my face very well. Maybe someone is taking advantage of you and trying to make you feel like, oh, you're the good person. They want to treat you disrespectfully, and you're there being humble and saying, I didn't want anybody to get into trouble. No, you get up and say, this is wrong. That is wrong. I will not tolerate this. You need to be assertive. You need to speak up and say, hello, ma'am, this is exactly what happened. I don't care how many of them are standing up to talk about this, but it's a lie. This is the evidence that I have. You have to speak up. You don't cower down. You don't shut down. So you must not show fear. When you show that you're afraid, they come on more. Someone says, what if you feel left out? Build a new circle of friends. You feel left out on one activity that you know is wrong. Start out a new activity that is safe. Call friends to hang out with you. So, for instance, I always tell parents, I say, if you don't want your daughters, for instance, to hang out in the wrong place, call them to bring their friends that you feel safe with, that they feel safe with, and still give them something to do that makes them happy. There has to be an alternative. Your friends say, oh, watch something in appropriation. You said, no, I can't, because there's always something decent to watch. Okay, I'm going to watch this thing, or I'm going to go out and play games. I'm going to go on a picnic with my friends. Do something that ensures that you don't feel isolated and you don't feel left out. All right. Make sure you don't make sure you're okay. Somebody asked me that is makeup bad? No, makeup is not bad, but the question is makeup appropriate for a minor? Makeup might not be appropriate for a minor. All right. and you're still a minor. I love looking pretty to school. Is it bad? No. As long as you're not waiting for people to compliment you. So if you dress up and then you show up at school just so that people compliment you, and you're kind of waiting, if they don't compliment you, you feel bad. It's a peer pressure. It means you're looking for validation. It means you're being pressured to be liked. So you have to dress well and not care if anyone noticed it. How about if someone does something for themselves that is not breaking rules, but is attracting the attention of our friends and is making someone feel left out? Let's say you're two friends, right, that work together, and you're doing something for yourself, you're not breaking any rules, but other people like you. Maybe you learned how to dance and is drawing attention to you, and your closest friend is not comfortable with the limelight. Sit down and talk with them. If it's making them feel left out, it might be because they are timid or they have something they're dealing with. And so because we're friends, we can talk to them so that they don't feel left out. Well, let's say you're 14 to 15, you can't we start wearing small makeup? Sweetheart, be patient. 18 is just around the corner. It's just 3 years to go. Look at me, let me tell you, if you see my university pictures, you won't believe it. I used to fix my hair, do full makeup, fix my nails. I mean, I was all over the place. And then one day something just snapped. I just got tired of it. So just calm down. 18 is just a few days away, I promise you. And then when you become 18, you're going to get to the days where you don't even feel like it. Just give yourself time. But also, I just want to ask, do you think that you would be more beautiful when you do makeup? Let's go there. So that's pressure people are feeling. Or feeling pressure to make up and look beautiful. But I just want you to make sure that you want to look beautiful for you. And this is not something you answer to me, you just answer me and say, um, for me. Sorry, who's there, please? I'm in a session, no. Please send me WhatsApp. Thank you. Sorry about the interruption, okay? So maybe lip balm. I don't think lip balm is makeup. Lip balm is lip balm. Just do it. But just make sure you're not doing it because you feel that you're not beautiful. That's Miss Irene's own. Make sure you're not looking for makeup because something tells you you're not beautiful. See, we all will not go through Miss World, but we are all beautiful. I am naturally beautiful. Black beauty. I like that, girl. Yeah. You have to know that you're beautiful, makeup or not. Do you get the idea? That's what Miss Irene is saying. Makeup or not, you're beautiful. And you have to know it inside. All right. So mommy says no makeup till you're 18. Fantastic. Just wait till then. You would have all the time in the world. This isn't part of the topic. Everything is part of the topic today, sweetheart. What? All right. So what if you're a straightforward person and people call you rebellious? Can you talk to one of the people who say you're rebellious to tell you instances where they felt that you were showing rebellion? It could be your tone. It could be that the person was older. It could be that you weren't listening. It could be that you were focusing on your point. You can be straightforward without being rebellious, but ask them to give you an example of a scenario. Someone says 18 feels like a million years ahead. I promise you, it may feel like that, but it's not really so. So think about it. Just a few weeks ago was Christmas, and we're at another Christmas. So what we're literally saying is that like just 3 or 4 Christmases to go. That's what we're talking about. So I promise you, it's not that long. All right, it's not that long. Enjoy yourself. Take pictures now that you don't wear a lot of makeup, so that when you start doing makeup, you can have your before and after. So enjoy this moment. I promise. So girls, let me go back to our Idawe. All right. So we're identifying where we feel pressured. Once we identify where we feel pressure, the next thing to do is to determine what we want. So, for instance, to the girls asking me that they want to do makeup, right? I want to ask you straightforward. I want to ask you, uh, I'm coming. Sorry. For those of you who feel pressure to do makeup now, Miss Irene asked you a question, which is, do you not feel beautiful? So determine what you want and determine why you want this thing. Why is this thing even important to you? So D stands for determine why this thing is important to you. Whether it's about dating, because so ask yourself, why do I want to date? Is it because all of my classmates are dating? So if all of your classmates were taking poison, would you take poison? because all of them are taking it. Or you would say, I'm not going to participate in this madness. So you can look at everybody doing stuff and think about it beyond what they're doing. You can think about it in terms of consequences and say, I don't want to participate in this nonsense. Everybody's doing it. I don't want to participate in this nonsense. Let me give you a typical example. Let's say somebody says makeup doesn't fit me. You don't know yet, but if you feel that way, it's okay. So I've only worn makeup once in my life. I never did makeup until I was 18, and I didn't die. I survived it. So let's say there's a new water bottle in town, and people say it breaks by the second day. But everybody's buying because it's so cool. It has this pack and ta 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 ta. Everybody's buying it. But they say it breaks by the second day. And by the second day, you won't be able to hold water. So now, because of how cool it is, people are buying it, but they're still carrying water in other bottles. And now that is extra burden for them. So you that is an onlooker, you can look at what everybody's doing and say, man, this doesn't make sense. Long term, this doesn't make sense. This is not a smart thing to do. So you may see everybody doing something, but you have to be able to determine that does this thing really make sense? It doesn't make sense to me. All right. You see your classmates are dating and then they start to quarrel. This boy asks this girl out. That same boy asks another girl out. Two friends are quarreling because they're liking the same boy. And they're not realizing that that boy is talking to how many of them, and they start to get angry, they're getting into trouble with teachers. You don't have a boyfriend, but you're seeing the madness. And so you can ask yourself, this is rubbish. Or one day they're quarreling, the other day they're apologizing, the other day this one is threatening, the other one is saying, meet me here. They're getting into trouble with teachers. If you're the one dating, even you're seeing the drama that is involved. You can just say, man, this thing is madness. I'm not interested. I'm sneaking around my parents. My parents are suspecting me. I'm coming late to the boss. They're reporting me to my parents. There's a whole lot of scenario. My close friend is growing feelings for me. What do I do? Simple. As body smart girls, we tell the people around us that start to like us that look, you're going through puberty. This is all puberty hormones talking. So keep this emotion aside so that we can actually have a relationship. Keep these feelings aside. Let's actually have a relationship. Let's relate to each other. Let's support each other. All right, people compliment my water bottle because it's shaped like a weight, all right? So somebody asked me a question. I would only answer that when you come to my boot camp in December. That's Beam 2015. There's a question you asked that I would only be able to answer when you come to my boot camp. But there are parents who let their kids date. It depends on family values. I would not let my kids date before they're 18. I wouldn't even let my kids date. I would not let them date before 18. And then after 18, I will encourage them to wait until they're 22. There's a state of mind that a girl needs to be in order to access a boy right. There's a state of mind that a girl needs to be in to be able to think clearly with boys. That state of mind does not come before you're 22. So the fact that some parents allow dating, I don't know what their reason is, but my reason is both scientific and faith induced and faith inspired. I don't want to use induced, I'm not being induced, and my own experiences. So maybe it's good for me to tell you my story here. So my mom was 19. Think about it. She was 19. She was doing like a pre degree at the time, and she was an athlete. And she met this guy, they started dating, and there was sex. It is easier for a boy to pressure a girl less than 22 to have sex with him than for him to pressure a girl older than 22 who doesn't want to have sex. So girls that are 22 and older have the strength to say no, much more than girls that are less. So, long story cut short, my mother gave in to have sex with him. And guess what? My mom got pregnant. And the man never showed up. He never accepted. He never showed up. I mean, I'm 39 years old. I'm going to be 40 next year. I don't know who in the world my father is. So he got my mom pregnant and he just took a walk. Now that can happen to girls younger and they'll be distraught. So if it happened to a girl older than 22, she has better strength to, to take on life from there than if it happens when she's younger. So there are many, see, dating is not the picture you see on media. Oh, butterflies, people kissing and their legs going up. No, dating is allowing people into your personal space. If those people make wrong decisions, they're going to pressure you more. So you start dating a boy who thinks that having sex is not wrong, he's going to pressure you to have sex. If you date a boy who thinks that drinking is not a problem, he's going to pressure you to drink. If you meet a boy who thinks that doing drugs is not wrong, he's going to pressure you to do drugs. So until you get to a state of mind where you can look at a boy, like him, but also know that this boy makes all the wrong choices in the world. I'm not safe with him. You won't be, I mean, you're not ready to date. And right now, you're just excited about how colorful it looks. But it's a lot more complicated than that. It's like seeing a student coming in JSS1. They're so excited about secondary school. And you're like, relax until you meet Mr. This that does this and Mr. That does that. If it is your close friend that is putting pressure on you, then the person has lost the right to be your BFF. You need to give the person some space and tell them what personal values. Like, I don't want to do this and you're trying to get me to do it. You need to be able to tell them that. Girls, you're not letting me teach you. Anyway, is ask yourself what is important to you. And then always talk to a trusted adult about anything that you feel pressured about. W means, who are the people influencing you? People or things. Some of you want to date because of how it looked on a TV show. You want to date because of how it looked on a TV show. You want to date because of some fancy story your classmate told you. Sit down and ask yourself, who is making me feel this pressure? The moment you're able to identify the who's, then you take the next step. If the pressure you feel is positive, let's say you have a classmate who is telling you, we're going to stand with each other and we will not date until we finish this school. That's a great friend to hang around with. That's a friend to spend time with and do a lot of fun things together so that you guys don't start to feel isolated as if every other one person is having a good time and you're not. You get the idea? As if every other person is having a good time and you're not. So you get closer to that friend that is encouraging you for you guys to do the right thing. So amplify yourself. Amplify means let's do the right thing. All right. But also, if you find out that the sources of influence are negative, you have a show you're watching, a series you're following, a group of friends you're hanging out with that are bombarding you with pressure to do the wrong thing, you eliminate them, you remove them from your circle. All right, you eliminate them and remove them from your circle. So I'm coming to the end of our session right now, and I just want to spend the time here and talk about our December bootcamp coming, happening in December. It's going to be exciting. It's going to be for 3 days, and we're going to do a lot of talking. All right, we're going to do a lot of talking. You're going to ask us questions, scenario by scenario. It's for 3 days, virtual. We have 2 classes a day. That means if the morning favors your parents, fantastic. If it's the evening that favors your parents, fantastic. So you take either of the classes. All right. So if you're watching me now and you would like to come to the bootcamp, which I think you should, so that we can talk about making friends, emotional intelligence, body safety, and all of those things. The fear of being left out and everything, we can articulate it. Articulate means we can think it through, come up with a plan of things you can start doing. All you need to do is get your parents to sign you up for the Body Smart Girl Bootcamp coming up in December. My number, I posted my number where your parents can send a WhatsApp. If they just send a WhatsApp with the word camp, we'll send them everything that they need to know. So the bootcamp is for girls of all ages. So we have a special class for 12 to 14-year-olds. All right. Like this session we're holding now, imagine it for 3 days. All right, for 3 days. All right, a session for 3 days. I mean, it will be amazing. All right. Is it conjoined? I don't know what that means. I mean, are you joining with another age group? No, just the way you're having this session now, just you guys. All right, 12 to 14. So I look forward to seeing you guys. Remember, either way stands for number one, identify what the pressure is. What are you being pressured to do? Number D is determine what you want. So if the pressure is to date, determine, do you want to date, or and if you decide that you want to date, what are the risks? When you come to a conclusion that is not worth it, determine that is not worth it. While you're trying to determine what you want to do, go to the third place where you talk to an adult. Ask. A stands for ask questions. Ask yourself, why should I do this? if you say I want to date, ask yourself, why do I feel the need to date? Do you know sometimes you feel the need to date because you feel maybe you feel that people don't love you much, you don't feel that you're liked, and so you start to feel the pressure to date. So when you start asking yourself those questions, you'll be able to answer. Of course, peer pressure can be positive. You can be pressured to do the right thing. So peer pressure is good when you're being pressured to do the right thing. Yes, everyone here can attend the boot camp. Boot camp is for every one of us and all of your friends. When you get back to school, talk to at least 3 classmates about coming to the Body Smart Girl boot camp and get them to tell their parents to register them so that you can learn together. Peer pressure can be good because it encourages you to do the right thing and be the person God wants you to be. And that really works when all of your friends or most of your friends share the same values as you. So girls, remember, A says ask questions and talk to adult. W says find out who. W means who is influencing me. Is it a TV series? Is it what my cousin said? Is it what my uncle said? Where am I getting the influence from? All right. I just want to say here that sometimes when you've been exposed to sexual abuse as a child, it can make you become needy. All right. So we need to fix those needs so that you see that you don't really need the boys. And then A stands for amplify. If the people close to you are helping you make better choices, increase your closer to them. But if the people around you are negative, it's time to eliminate them. I want to thank you, girls. I have another class. Can you influence yourself? Yes, you can influence yourself by writing goals and telling yourself, this is who I am. So, regardless of the pressure you feel, if you have this list of affirmations on the wall in your bathroom or in your room, you keep reminding yourself that this is who you are. This is who you are. You can influence yourself. Could you please type out the acronym and the meaning? All right, let me show you in the screen. If you can take a picture, it will help. Let me show you in the screen. So you see it here, identify, determine, ask, who. If you can take a picture of that and a picture of amplify and eliminate, it will help. So IDAW, sorry, IDAW, AE, either way, all right? So we've come to the end of our session so that I can join the 15 to 17-year-olds in their own class. Thank you so much, girls, for coming. Remember that if you want to be a part of the boot camp, yeah, all you need to do is tell your parents to send us a message via WhatsApp with the word camp to 081009443320 and we'll add you to the bootcamp. Please leave me a comment and let me know if you learned something. So you can type, I learned something today. I learned something. It's okay to also tell us what you learned. Yeah. I want to know what you learned today. I want to thank you so much for your time. I love you, girls. I'm rooting for you. I look forward to you becoming everything that God designed for you to be. Love you, girls. Good night.